Greetings, welcome back to Couch Critic. Dennis P. out here in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm on tour again, and I'm still musing Chelsea Football Club. Before I get into this Bournemouth Chelsea review, can you please do me a big favor and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and of course if you're a real bad man, you will hit that bell notification to keep up with the latest and the newest. Okay, let's get right into it. Chelsea versus Bournemouth up at the Vitality Stadium, a game that finished 4-0 to Bournemouth. Chelsea's heaviest they've eaten in well over 20 years. Deserved, unfortunately. I thought in the first half, Chelsea came out really well, moved the ball really quickly. Guys looked up for it, lively. But for whatever reason, come the second half, the team just fell off, and we got back into the same old routine of moving the ball very slowly amongst their perimeter and not really trying to make those incisive passes to break down the defense. This is going to be a difficult review for me, mainly because I don't really think that Chelsea did anything different from games that we've seen previously in terms of like how they moved the ball and what they were trying to attack. They did bring Emerson into the starting 11, and newly acquired Gonzalo Higuain started up front and did a decent job of leading the line, though he wasn't really getting a whole lot of service. I thought mainly what I saw that was interesting is that Chelsea were less reluctant to get the ball into the teeth of the defense. So they're definitely probing the central areas of the pitch. Did a good job of that in the first half, just couldn't really get that final ball. The interplay between Hazard and Gonzalo Higuain did look decent first 20-25 minutes, but obviously considerably fell off as the game wore on, and Hazard kind of like drifted out of the match, which is something that we're starting to see a lot more now than we have in, even months past, let alone years past. But again, the biggest problem that we're facing right now is the fact that Chelsea are not scoring goals and not threatening goal. We had that one chance with Kovacic, which would have put us up 1-0 off of the header, but outside of that, I don't remember any real clear-cut chances. When it came time to get into the teeth of the defense and deliver that telling ball, the interplay between Hazard and Higuain just wasn't linking up for the final ball, and as a result, we weren't really getting a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. Like with most teams that we face, they're just going to crowd the penalty area and take away, shooting angles. And we saw a lot of blocks. We saw a lot of balls wayward. And again, a lot of balls were saved, right into the keeper's hand. The main problem is the build-up play. We're not hurting teams with our build-up play, and we're not creating quality goal-scoring opportunities. Even when we do, like the Kovacic chance was pretty decent, we're not putting them away. So I also noticed another minute tactical switch, which I applaud. I thought it was great to see, which was Aspi getting down the flank and basically getting to the byline and providing an overlapping opportunity for Pedro. In the past, we haven't really seen him get down and try and really get into those dangerous areas on the pitch. Unfortunately, his final ball is still lacking quite a bit. He did have that one opportunity where he flashed across the 6 and nobody was able to get on the end of it. Those opportunities are only really great when you make that pass, when you have men in the box that are able to get on it. Like just flashing it across the 6 isn't really effective if there's nobody in position to make a play for the ball. So I liked what I saw from Jorginho right up until the second half. Thought David Brooks did a great job of, again, marking him out of the game. I don't know what is happening with this system right now where when Jorginho is marked out, we're not finding the alternative solution to get the team playing again. As soon as Brooks sat on Jorginho once again, we're unable to play football. Everything turned into slow, turgid football. Again, in the first half, I did think Jorginho did play well. He was popping the ball around quite a bit, aerially, looking for the long ball, and just really dictating play. I thought he had a really, really good game, and also defensively in the first half. Of course, the second half, everything went to shit, and he wasn't very good, but he wasn't alone in that, that's for sure. And this is really becoming an ongoing problem now going forward. We're not really finding the alternative way to get the team playing again. For whatever reason, Jorginho just gets completely marked out of the game and doesn't have any real influence whatsoever. Even his movement starts to lack. Like, he doesn't really start moving guys around. If he knows that Brooks is sitting on him, I don't know why he doesn't just move quickly into an area where he pulls him out of position and allows somebody like, say, Kovacic, who again was invisible the entire match, to come in and start playing that sort of regista role in his stead. If the game plan is to sit on Jorginho and basically man mark him, use one guy to basically mark him out of the game, then the alternative has to be for Jorginho to use his movement to pull this, whoever it is, David Brooks in this case, out of position to allow for somebody like Kovacic to come in and dictate the play for us. It just makes no sense to me that he's so static and central all the time and not really impacting the game. With movement, you can do that. You move somebody out of position, you move them away from where we want to, the areas we want to attack, and then we use somebody like Kovacic or maybe even Emerson, Hazard, Willian, Pedro, to start coming into those areas and, you know, effectively get the team playing again. I have to say I was really disappointed with Hazard's play, and have been for quite some time now, not just in his false nine role, but also on the left flank. He's just not providing the same sort of like passion and energy and like drive to take this team by the scruff of the neck and like pull them over the line. It seems like he's very lethargic. Even in possession and out of possession, you can just basically write him off. He's not going to work hard off the ball. And to be honest with you, I'm a firm believer that if your best player is not your hardest working player, you're in trouble, and it just sets a bad example for the club going forward from top to bottom. As of right now, Eden Hazard is definitely not Chelsea's hardest working player, and it has a trickle-down effect in the club. We're hearing Maurizio Sarri saying that he's not even doing the things on the pitch that he's asked him to do. He's basically just doing his own thing. It's hurting the team's shape. It's hurting the team's actual build-up play as well. If that doesn't change, I don't see us making top four. But at the same time, you know, Maurizio's caught between a rock and a hard place, because if he actually, you know, does what most managers would do with lesser players and, you know, basically disciplines him, it doesn't really help the team, because it basically drops Hazard's head. In the past, we've seen situations where managers have gone in on Hazard and it's led to him down-tooling for the rest of the season. He's got a fine line to toe, and it's difficult because he knows what is required. I can tell that Maurizio Sarri knows what is required for us to be at our optimal level, but if guys are unwilling to put in the effort and like the passion, the desire and the drive, and like, you know, really execute a game plan, then there's just not much he can do about it. And like I said in a previous video, Maurizio Sarri is basically being tasked with coaching out the bad habits that have been inherited from a previous regime under, you know, Antonio Conte, under Jose Mourinho, where it's very safe and very defensive-minded football. This switch right now that we're looking for is a more aggressive, offensive-minded football. When you have been conditioned to be very safe and very, you know, not take any chances while in possession, you basically rely on your instincts when you're on the pitch, and that is their instincts right now. We haven't had a training camp with a full squad, and until we can ingrain some of Maurizio Sarri's principles into the team, we're going to see this week after week. And regardless of what he wants to see, you know, people are going to rely on their muscle memory or their conditioning to, you know, get them through the match. It's a very fast-moving game, so basically what you're going to do when you're on the pitch is resort to what you're most used to doing, and it's a very hard habit for them to break right now, and they're struggling with that right now. Let's just make one thing clear: this is nothing close to what Maurizio Sarri wants on the pitch, and, you know, without a training camp and a very short window between players coming back from World Cup and then into, like, you know, the season, we're not necessarily seeing his principles being executed at a high level. Also noticed that what was going on basically, and why we got caught out with so much, is because we were pressing so high up the pitch. We had so many guys in that final third area of the pitch. Our fullbacks were firing forward. We had our midfielders pressed up. Jorginho was a lot further more advanced. And as a result, we're moving the ball a lot quicker, but exposing ourselves at the back. And I think that that's what Bournemouth basically took full advantage of in the second half. Once they made the adjustment in the second half and basically just sat on Jorginho, they basically marked him out of the game and were able to get on the counter and really hurt us basically with 4 goals. I don't think that we have the defenders that could basically cover for the lack of numbers that we have at the back. So the David Luiz's, the Rudigers, and, you know, the Alonsos, or Emerson in this case, aren't really the kind of guys that you want to expose and leave isolated when teams are trying to counter. And as this is probably one of the big problems with this system, because the more we need goals and the more we need to be on the attacking front foot, the more exposed we're going to be at the back, and we don't really necessarily have the best one-on-one defenders. And if teams break with numbers like they had, like Bournemouth did in more than a few occasions yesterday, we're going to be in trouble, and it definitely came to a head yesterday. And on a final note, I want to just address what Maurizio Sarri has been doing in the media, and conversely what social media has been responding to some of the stuff that he's been saying, and, you know, particularly the fact that he has no plan B, and the fact that we're so easy to predict, and we look so boring on the pitch. I'm not going to say that I disagree. I think we definitely need to show that we have another way of playing football that is beyond just like working it around the perimeter and like pass, and then, you know, give the ball away or whatever. There has to be something else, another application, a more direct route for us to try and get goal-scoring opportunities, and we're just not seeing that right now. And the way that we are playing isn't even to the standard of what the manager wants. He's sticking to his his principles, but at the same time, we're not seeing them implement his principles at a high level, and as a result, we're losing games, not scoring goals, not getting goal scoring opportunities, and he's doing nothing to change it. I really think that yesterday would have been a great opportunity to not only keep Gonzalo Higuain in the game, but also bring Giroud in as well as an aerial threat, and play Hazard maybe in off of the two of them, and maybe play him in the 10 role and him servicing the two strikers up front, with Jorginho and Conte basically sitting in behind him in a triangle basically, and just use the fullbacks in a more advanced position as basically wingbacks. That might be a shape that we could use going forward to try and get some more goal scorers up front. As it is right now, we just don't have a plan B, and it's hurting the team. But I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Chelsea unbelievably lose 4-0 at the Vitality Stadium to Bournemouth. Not a lot of positives coming out of that game, other than the fact that we saw Gonzalo Higuain play, and he looked okay. Unfortunately, didn't score. And the mentality of this team is just so poor right now, and it's just not to the standard that we've become accustomed to as Chelsea fans, where we had really strong leadership on and off the pitch and in the dressing room. And it's becoming more and more of a concern. Where are the leaders in this team? Who's the guy that's going to take the team by the scruff of the neck and just lead us to the victory? At the beginning of the year, it was Eden Hazard, but right now we're not seeing that same sort of Eden Hazard right now. We're seeing a very lethargic looking, uninterested player. And conversely, as much as I like Azpilicueta, he doesn't really strike me as the kind of leader that this team needs right now. The kind of guy that will ruffle some feathers and tell people what they don't want to hear, and basically get them to play, get them to focus on what is being asked of them on the pitch. Right now, the closest thing we have to that is David Luiz, and for my money, he's just too mistake prone to be that voice, that presence. Yeah, so here we are with a team that has a poor mentality and aren't really adapting to the manager's football. But we move on. We're playing Huddersfield the weekend, and if we don't get 3 points from that, we're in a shit ton of problems. So let's just hope for the best, but until then, keep the blue flag flying high and up the Chelsea.